bucks on Green Bay already.
Stop right there, Stossel. You're under arrest for illegal sports betting. Up your hands against the wall.
This seems ridiculous. And in truth, gamblers rarely get arrested for social betting, but a bet on a sporting event is illegal in many states. Why? My poker game with friends would be a crime in half the states. Fortunately, we're legal here in New York, but my state's ridiculous politicians have banned this.
Nice left hand.
Yes, it's brutal, but so what?
Won all of his previous fights.
Boxing's brutal. Football's brutal. These are consenting adults in the ring and outside it. This is legal in New York, and it's brutal and fake.
I think this is fake.
You think it's fake?
I know I got beaten up last time I said that, but pro wrestling is fake. Why should fake brutality be legal when a real sport is banned? Why do we let bureaucrats ban so many things? And some other questions. Do women need lawsuits to help them play sports? We don't need you lawyer tyrants. Should college athletes be allowed to make money? And do professional athletes make too much money?
Absolutely.
Grossly overpaid.
Who gets to control sports and pay? Who decides? That's our show tonight.
And now, the man who shatters conventional wisdom, John Stossel.
Are you into sports? If you are, I bet you're a guy. I know that's sexist to say that. There are plenty of women who are more into sports than most guys. But come on average, aren't men bigger fans and more eager to play sports? Nose is one of our guests tonight, but before I introduce her, the background. When I was in college, America was a pretty sexist place. Almost all competitive athletes were men.
I got a new thing going really big,
But when the women's movement blossomed, Congress passed a law called Title IX. As I explained in my last Fox News special, which I rudely titled Politicians' Promises Gone Wrong, under Title IX, athletic participation is supposed to be sex proportionate. So if 50% of the students are women, 50% of the athletes better be women, or a school may get sued. And to avoid getting sued, schools often just drop a man's team. Lots of men's gymnastics teams, wrestling, track teams have been killed because schools don't want to be sued by lawyers like Nancy Hogshead Makar for the Women's Sports Foundation. On my special, I gave her a hard time, pointing out that colleges want to please women, so I say her lawsuits are just overkill. It'll happen if there's demand. We don't need you lawyer tyrants.
Any way that you can measure it, women are behind.
Men and women are different.
Well, no, really.
Boys want to smash into each other. We are just different.
So maybe boys do want to smash into each other and girls don't. But girls want to flip around on the floor and girls want to swim back and forth.
Nancy Hogshead Makar is back for more. And also joining us is Allison Kasich of the Independent Women's Forum. So what did I get wrong?
Well, a lot of things. One is you misrepresented the law, which says that the law says that if girls are not interested in sports, then the schools don't have to provide opportunities. But here's the thing. There are so many girls that are interested in sports. There's no way schools can meet this demand. It doesn't matter what sport that you open up. You could open up like kickboxing or snowboarding or any X Games sport or... it doesn't matter. There's so much demand for sport that both boys and
the colleges
girls
don't care about the demand? They just ignore you women because you're women and they're all sexist?
Well, the University of Florida took 4 years to institute its new lacrosse program. So it takes a while before a school they need to buy the property, they need to hire the coach, get the scholarships lined up. Why are we using our tax dollars to support high school and college sports? And the answer is this is an excellent investment in our future. That we've got a lot of research showing how much a sports experience means for both boys and girls and what it does for our workforce.
All right, I want to stick to Title IX and this equality police stuff.
These are educational opportunities, and it's fair to allocate them on an equal basis.
It would happen anyway without your lawsuits.
Unfortunately, the battle for
help me
Title
out.
IX has been a really hard Scrabble one.
Look, there's obviously a lot of women out there who want to play sports. You know, we both have backgrounds as athletes, but it's also important to realize that there are plenty of opportunities. There have been more NCAA women's teams than men's teams since 1995. So this sort of myth that there are no opportunities for women, there are no scholarships out there, I mean, it's just that. It's a myth. There are plenty of opportunities, and schools are in the best place to be making programming decisions, not the federal government. And the fact that the government has been so heavy-handed in sort of directing, you know, what programs are appropriate, what ratio you have to have for men's to women.
What business is it of theirs?
It isn't.
Well, hold on. Right now, boys have 57% of all the sports opportunities. Girls have 43%.
Isn't it because the boys want to play more?
No, hold on. But they have 57%. And what the Independent Women's Forum is saying is that that's not fair.
That's Allison's true.
Yeah, that boys should have more of what the girls have. That they only have 43%. They're 57% of the student
They're
body.
just saying the schools should make their own call.
Well,
if I could jump in on what we're actually saying, it's that these programs should reflect the interests and abilities of the students on campus. And right now, that's not something that Title IX really does. It sticks to a rigid system. You know, if 60% of your students are female, then 60% of your athletes have to be female. Otherwise, you're vulnerable to a lawsuit. And that sort of one-size-fits-all system, it doesn't benefit men. It doesn't benefit women. You know, we need more localized, flexible policies that, you know, can allow schools to compete, as you said on your special, in sort of a free market of, you know, this school might be a big, you know, basketball, football school. This school might specialize in Olympic sports. You know, allow the schools to compete, and you know, we'll have plenty of opportunities. And quite frankly, we already have a lot of opportunities.
Well, we don't have a lot of opportunities. Literally, schools, particularly colleges, could double the number of sports opportunities that they're currently providing and still have unmet demand for both boys and girls.
And Fox could double my pay. You know, but there's a limited amount of resources.
Well, but there is a good public policy reason as to why it is that we're investing in these kids. I just have been involved in too many situations where it was very, very difficult to get a women's team involved. I still get calls all the time.
Why is that? Because the schools are run by sexist men?
It just, you know, there's never a time that somebody can say we've got all this money lying around for a new sport. It's very easy for them to fall way behind in that. But there's nowhere near parity. Boys and girls still
Why should there be parity? More girls want to participate in the yearbook and the glee club and dance.
Any other extracurricular activity than sports, women are a strong majority, and yet you never hear anyone say, let's apply Title IX to that area. It's very focused on the one area in which women are a minority in terms of participants. But as I said, they have more teams. They have, if you look at especially sports where there's both a male and female equivalent, you know, soccer, swimming, there's more scholarship opportunities for the women than for the men. So to sit back and say there's all this widespread discrimination, I mean, it's absolutely
nonsense. And yet you're suing them anyway.
Wait, no, that's because there are 85 football scholarships and 100 kids on the team. So Title IX doesn't care what sport somebody's doing. It just looks at what are all the men doing and what are all the women doing over here. It just.
All right, but what about the fact that don't men and women have different interests?
Well, here's the thing. Athletics is the one place in all of school and probably all of employment where there is formal sex segregation. So all those other clubs that you guys just mentioned, it doesn't matter. You just say, for law school, my law school, it's, you know, who has the best LSAT GPA, and turns out to be roughly 50-50. In sports, you can't do that. If you want to give women sort of en masse, you have to give them a separate team. When you're talking about only 2% or 1 or 2% of your student body is on the sports team,
then let the school decide. Then you're right. This college sports is a fancy elite thing.
You know, if you want to be a business and go be separate and not be part of education, fine by me.
Education is a business.
But these are our tax dollars that we're spending because we're investing in kids.
Well, how about stopping giving our tax dollars to schools? I'm for that.
Well, if we did stop giving our tax dollars to schools, then, you know, we'd have the club system, which is what we have. For lots and lots of different sports.
We could get rid of Title IX and all your lawsuits.
Title IX doesn't apply to club sports. Doesn't apply. There's nobody saying you've got to head of NFL. The whole premise is the school receives federal funds, receives those tax dollars, and in return for that, then you give us this discrimination-free environment. So obviously, it's a good deal because otherwise, the tax benefits that they get that go along with it, and you know, all the federal funds that come with it, you know, obviously they wouldn't take those federal funds otherwise.
Allison, I'll give you the last word.
We should want a policy that's focused on students and their interests rather than on what the government thinks, what lawyers think, and it would be a lot better off.
I agree. And thank you, Nancy, for coming back to fight more, and Allison. Did you know that Alex Rodriguez makes $65,000 every time he comes up to bat? That's more than most Americans make in a year. So are professional athletes overpaid? That's next.